Society. You just saw the GG1 go by. That's one of our projects. The N6B is another one of our projects. And this is our project that doesn't move.
Okay.
This is Harris Tower. It is a fully restored Pennsylvania Railroad tower dating from 1930.
Okay.
It's restored to its appearance as it would have looked in 1943.
Oh, wow.
The unique part of this tower is that we can actually run a simulation.
Okay.
So you can actually move trains across the model board as you would during any day or any one of 3 days in 1943.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we're not running the simulation today.
Okay.
But I'd be happy to show you the machine.
Sure.
And we are open every Saturday from the end of May through the end of October.
Okay.
10 to 3. So we encourage you to come back when we're running the simulation.
Okay, cool.
You take donations too?
Oh, absolutely. Right over there's a donation box. That's how we stay alive.
Okay.
We're the best free game in town.
Cool. Got some models here, I see.
Yeah. That's just some displays of the typical passenger equipment that you would have seen going by Harris Tower in the 1940s.
Okay.
You can feel free to take one of our newsletters and in fact a fact sheet. One here from Harris, yeah. But you can feel free to take one of these.
Okay. Wow. Thank you.
This is a Union switch and signal interlocking machine, first patented in 1912.
Okay.
What this is an electromechanical computer.
Okay.
When Harris was built in 1930, it replaced 3 Armstrong plants, the mechanical levered Armstrong plants that covered the same 7/10 of a mile from the Harrisburg train station, PRR station, you see right over there, down to the Harrisburg engine terminal at McClay Street.
Okay.
Harris Tower, her original telegraph sign was HG, it's located here. The State Street Bridge, the bridge you can see out of our north side windows, it's right here. So even though our visual is only right in this, our visual area is right here, we control the area the whole way up to the Harrisburg engine terminal.
Wow.
Now again, we're not running a simulation today, but ordinarily the lights on the board, there would be lights simulating trains moving back and forth. The lights here on the machine would be on. What we have here are signals, signals on the bottom, switches on the top, and the numbers on the levers correspond to the numbers that you see here on the board.
Okay.
Okay, so switch number 1 is right here, handling the Reading connection. If you look on here, you're going to see white stripes and striped stripes. The striped trackage indicates that it's non-electrified.
Okay.
The non-striped trackage indicates that it has catenary, that you see out here now, over top, so it's capable of handling an electric locomotive.
Okay.
Tracks 1 through 10 are the platform tracks, and if you look toward the station, you can still see remnants of those platform tracks down there. Track 10 would be at the far left, followed by 9, and the lead to the stub track 24.
Okay.
And then that would continue up to track 1. Tracks 11 and 12 would have been in the locations of where you see the current Norfolk Southern main line, and being that it was the PRR main line, it would have continued along the Harrisburg line down toward Philadelphia.
Oh, okay. Wow.
As you look at the model board, the area in the center was a small coach yard.
Okay.
Where passenger cars can be marshaled. Up here at this end, you have the mainline tracks. Up here, a small passenger yard on 4P and 5P. The engine terminal are the E-tracks 3E through 7E, where steam and electric engines would head toward the engine terminal or head back from the engine terminal. And tracks 11 and 12 are a continuation of the 11 and 12 track across the bottom into a small freight yard just beside the engine terminal.
Okay.
Harrisburg was a very unique location. This is where electrification on the old PRR ended.
Yeah.
Right.
So you would have the handoff at Harrisburg, and as you go down the steps, there's a painting hanging in our wall, or hanging on the wall as you go down the steps, showing that handoff with an electric locomotive and a steam locomotive getting ready to switch and take a train west from Harrisburg.
Okay.
All these pocket tracks that you see are for staging of steam locomotives to proceed west. On the other side of the station, State Tower had a similar board, and it had pocket tracks as well, staging electric locomotives to go east, railroad east.
Here comes another train.
Yep,
Is that another freight train?
that's a real freight train. Yep, that's coming.
Oh, it's an engine.
Yeah, 514 heading back. Oh no, I'm sorry, it's a light engine. Oh, well, where's the man? He's coming. He's right in front of me. Right in front of the.
Oh, okay. Oh, one engine.
Yeah,
We call it six engine. We call it six engine move road.
Wow.
There's a lot of action up here.
Yep. That's the one thing that interrupts the tour. And you come around the back of the machine.
Okay.
Up at the front are interconnecting levers and rods that serve as mechanical interlocks. The whole idea behind the interlocking machine is to prevent a collision from occurring.
Oh, okay.
So these bars are interconnected to the levers that you see on the front, and as a lever is thrown, the bars will slide, and these mechanical stops will prevent other levers from being thrown. So you have a protection device here mechanically.
Like a fail-safe.
Exactly. And that's what the interlocking machine is for. It provides safety interlock. In the back of the machine, those rods continue back here to these bearings that you see across the top.
Wow.
Okay? And the bearings turn, or those rods turn a bevel gear that move a rotating rod that goes down into the machine. The upper part of that rod has electrical connectors that go down to circuit boards that were on our first floor.
Oh.
They've been stripped since we're no longer connected to the railroad. But what that would do, that would turn that would energize and de-energize servo valves that would send 90-pound air out to the switches to move them left and right.
Okay.
It would also send signals out to the signals themselves through relays to give a permissive aspect. When you throw that lever,
Right.
you get a permissive aspect that the machine decides how it appears, whether it's slow approach, slow, or maximum allowable speed, which maximum allowable speed through our territory is 0.7 of a mile, is 15 miles an hour.
Okay.
The lower part of the rotors send signals back to the machine, whether it be to energize lights on the model board or to energize or de-energize these magnets. Okay? These magnets grab a hold of a locking ring. Okay? That locking ring is tied to the bar, which is tied to the lever on the front. If this is energized and it is lifted, right now this one won't lift, but if it's lifted off that ring, it's free to turn. When it is de-energized, it drops and locks the lever in position, whether it be to the left or the right, and the operator is not allowed to move it.
Okay.
What governs whether this thing is turned on or off is whether it is safe to move that lever or not, given the condition of the other levers on the front of the board.
Okay.
Okay? This is what we mean by saying this is an interlocking machine. It has these safety interlocks, and it's also an electromechanical computer.
Okay.
Or in actuality, it would be a logic machine.
Okay.
This would have been installed in 1930. The design would have probably begun 5 years earlier, where all the permutations, every permutation of lever throw would have been drawn out on a very large engineering drawing, which
Okay.
at the time probably would have been done on linen.
Okay.
Okay. So in a nutshell, this is how the machine operates and the purpose of the tower. Now, how do we operate it today? Well, it's not tied to the railroad, first of all.
Okay.
But we do operate a simulation. We are the only tower in the world, to have tied a machine like this, which this is a Union Switch and Signal version. There were a couple other companies that made them. Tied this to a computer program and a laptop computer. So inside our normal operating desk over here, we have squirreled away a laptop computer, which is not typical of the time. But inside the electrical cabinet over here along the which is original to the building.
Right.
We have, yep, here you go. This is the engine coming back that just moved through G.
And look, the guys are on the front.
They're up. I wish you had the hell had the Pepsi can paint job on it.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
This is really going to say all the good things that see the band and 60,000 views. So it's really going to take the site off today. It's going to blow up.
This, what we've got over here, and we'll just point out a little bit of the original.
3 days for
During World War II, this would have 5 workers on the tower per shift.
Okay.
2 levermen, and if you look at the floor, you can see the wear marks where they would have walked. The board would have been split in half. You would have 1 leverman working this end, 1 leverman working this end of the board. Controlling those levermen, you would have a listening post who is picking up telephone calls coming in from other towers, a recorder who is recording train sheets here at this location, and a train director. The train director is the guy in charge of the operation. He is talking to the train master, I'm sorry, the station master down at the station.
Okay.
He's talking to the power director at the engine shops. He's also talking to State Tower that controls the other side of the Harrisburg train station.
Okay.
Any train that's coming in, the station master is going to decide where it goes. The power director is also going to be talking.
Oh.
Freight.
Oh, white worm, look at that.
Triple Crown. Oh.
It's a worm.
And you can feel the ground shaking. Why do you call it a white worm?
Because instead of having the flat
Give
parts
me a
underneath
road
it,
railer. Wow.
all it has
That's
under
rare.
it's a road railer, so all it has under it are trucks under the trailers themselves.
Oh, okay.
So you have it's all that.
And it's close spacing. Look at the close spacing between the cars.
That's not articulated.
Oh yeah. Well, it's articulated only in that the trailers are connected and they sit on trucks.
This is not dangerous.
No, they're actually designed for them. The frames on those trailers are reinforced, so they can serve as their own flat car.
Look how long this thing is.
Intermodal.
This thing's long.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, they had 2 engines. That's why I'm counting. Wow. 22. And it's late. 23. Yeah, usually an Atlantic going at night here. 24. 25. He's picking up speed. 26. 27. 31. 32.
I guess it never gets old. You guys watching trains all day long.
Yeah.
Well, you're working in a time machine. This place, once we run the simulation.
Look at the speed of now.
Here comes another one from this way. Got a stack train coming.
1943 inside the tower is present day outside.
Wow. Okay, I got you. Beautiful.
49.
Wow.
50.
Now,
51.
when we
52.
acquired it, we just
53, 54, 55, 56, this is big, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72,
Is this a Morse code thing?
75,
Morse code?
Oh, no.
76, 77,
During the 40s, they would take it, the telegraphers came out.
81,
And
82,
primarily we would be using
83,
the telephone.
84, 85, 86, 97, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 6, this is big, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 113 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. He didn't have to take his shoes
Here comes the stack train right here.
He's bringing it in slow, so he keeps his tension in the couplers. You know, the road railers, I haven't heard the expression whiteworm before, but you notice that they're only like a 13 or 15 inches between them.
Right.
So they're very aerodynamic.
Yeah. Amtrak used to have them, but they sold all of them.
Amtrak, I don't know about Amtrak, CSX got out of the business. So Norfolk Southern is the only one working with road railers now.
Oh, really?
Now, they're only certified for 15 years to work as rail cars.
Okay.
But that's why you see some of them will be on stack trains. They'll be on sitting in one of these. That's because they're over 15 years old. So they're still using it as a truck. They have to put it on a regular rail car to move it.
Oh, wow.
So, but they get an extra 5 years on the truck body that way.
Wow.
But they do way more. The truck body itself weighs more because it extra reinforces the function as a rail car.
Right.
The stack trains typically have one AC unit in them, so they can go over Horseshoe Curve without nonstop. You see an AC unit. Now, if it's a DC unit, they got a problem with the curve. They can't get up the curve unless the train is kind of short.
Yeah. The lead unit is an ES44DC. This is an SD70M-2 right here. I usually see these running on the...
That's not an AC unit. That's just a regular. Okay.
Yeah.
That's both because they'll have to have help on the curve.
Yeah.
Now, if you see a third engine, that's when they try to go over the curve nonstop because it's a hotter cargo. That's the other thing is how hot is the cargo? Because UPS or FedEx, those are hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. When they sign contracts with FedEx and UPS, they get those carriers get insurance, if you will, that the railroad's going to be delivering it on time.
Wow.
Because of the time critical of their delivery.
Where did they park the GG1?
Down there. She's going to be at the end of the stub train.
The stub train that goes under the bridge to the left.
So you'll have to go to the other side of the bridge where the two towers go to the other tower, and you should be able to look.
Okay.
The stairs over here to the left, you move the barricade out of the way or something. Go walk
So
around
if you
there.
go up to the overlook on the bridge, it'll be on the opposite side.
Okay, so you can see it from the bridge.
Yep.
Richard, you wanna go outside and get the rest of them? Cause he's gonna be sitting there for a while.
Yeah. Let's finish the tour first, though, buddy.
Tom McCurdy.
Tom Brad Anderson, one of
He's
the
talking to me.
Keystone just pulled in.
Remember this order.
And a train show vendor.
I'm a trade show vendor. You know, let me tell you what I did at the trade show this year.
I can't hold it so long
Hey,
now.
buddy. Ask him in the bathroom.
Ricky, I told you that this bathroom in here probably messy. You know that.
Look at this one.
Now, I will know when I sold the Vestas. I sold $5, he said he couldn't buy.
Yes.
No, it wasn't a trade show. I had nothing to do.
Absolutely, absolutely.
We got some crap from the hall. The door, the front door.
Where were we?
The frame that holds the front door, that holds the.
Well, as we said, we had a crew of 5 that worked the tower. I went ahead and I energized the machine. So let's talk a little bit about what you're seeing.
Oh.
The lights that you're seeing on the tower, the orange lights that you see here are occupied blocks. So these indicate that a train would be sitting on that track.
Okay.
The blue lights that you see here indicate a direction of travel as decided by State Tower and Harris Tower. The train directors will decide on a convention based on the requirements of the shift, what direction traffic would be moving on those tracks. So either railroad east or railroad west.
Okay.
Up at the top, just like any computer, there's a reset button. There are timers, mechanical timers that can be energized to, as you see, 2 through 54, number 10, all along the length to reset certain sections of the board if a mistake is made.
Okay.
Okay? It's called running time. Let's see.
So that basically prevents the operator from actually causing a head-on collision or a derailment.
That's what the machine does, but if, you know, people are human, so if someone throws the wrong lever, no problem, you can run time on the machine and correct your mistake.
Okay.
Otherwise, the machine will sit here and wait for the train to pass your signal before you can take it down, or possibly even allow you to take your switch and move it back to its normal position.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Let's take that to the back.
What we have done
All right,
with
see
this
you guys
machine,
later.
and have a great one now.
Thank you.
Yeah, off the opposite side of the observation platforms where the G's at.
Okay, thank you.
So if you look, we're not connected to the railroad.
Right.
So what we've done, and we're the only tower in the world to have done this. We've had visitors from Europe, all over the U.S. that would like to do this same thing. So Dan Raypack, the fellow who I initially laughed at his idea, the guy who actually performed this miracle of electronics and mechanics here.
Right.
He has the advice of people don't do it because it cost him 10 years of just painstaking work on this machine to get it operating. And what he did, he took a laptop computer, which ordinarily would not be located inside, used a couple of commercially available pieces of software, tied it to the machine using programmable logic controllers as basically stimulators. This sends the electronic signals to the machine just as trains would if they were on the tracks outside.
Oh, wow.
So that's what allows the lights to light up and in turn provides the inputs to the computer so that we can move our trains. So where do the trains come from? Inside those inside that train simulation software, he has basically built the PRR from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh and Buffalo to Baltimore. We've researched the train sheets for 3 different days in 1942 and 1943.
Okay.
Reverse engineered them, calculated when those trains would have left their origin points, programmed that into the simulation, and now that simulation sends us virtual trains across a virtual PRR with the sole purpose of running them across our 0.7 of a mile territory right here.
Wow.
Now, the one thing that we've also done as part of the simulation, Dan has done as part of the simulation, he has recorded a number of the former tower operators' voices. And they form the radio and telephone calls from the other towers on the system back here to Harris. So we actually get telephone calls coming in through our communications equipment that indicate when trains have passed certain locations.
Okay.
And what you're hearing are the voices of people who used to work here. So we're not only preserving the building.
You have the original voices.
The technology. We're also preserving the people in a way.
Wow.
who contributed so much to this and all the other 1,000 towers on the their operation.
Wow.
So it's a real, as we say, it's a time machine.
Yeah, it is.
It's 1943 inside, it's present day outside, and it's one of the best free gigs in Harrisburg you can get.
Yeah.
For a rail fan, it's a real remarkable place to come. And as a docent, as one of the tour guides here, it's a great place to work.
It is.
And we're all volunteers. We're all part of the Harrisburg Chapter, the NRHS.
Okay.
In fact, the caboose that you saw, that was my first project.
Okay.
I was a little bit smaller then. I was the only guy in the chapter who could fit inside the closets. So these 6 closets inside the N6B are, they're all my work. All the interiors, I painted them.
Wow. Oh, wow.
They basically would lock me in a closet and let me out an hour later, and now they wish they could just lock me in a closet.
Oh.
But, do you have any questions about what you're seeing?
Well, I've actually seen this before, but I've seen it on a Pentrix tape.
Yes.
I believe it was either K-Tower, I think that was K-Tower in New York City or New York City, and I think there was another tower in Washington, D.C. I think it was J-Tower. And they have a similar setup like this.
Pay attention to the audio. I know the ones you're talking about, the Northeast Corridor.
Yes.
I have actually used that tape to help adjust my vocabulary as I do my tours. We actually do operate.
Okay.
We've had actually day-long operating sessions here where folks who are interested in learning how it operated will run an entire shift here.
Wow.
We had a group last year, I think there was about 12 people in this group. We have 5 positions, they rotated positions.
Wow.
They did research before they came in.
Wow.
And so they knew, like, they watched the tape.
Yeah.
Some of them were actually experienced tower operators, and some of them weren't, had no idea, had never touched a machine.
Wow.
But before they walked in, they were familiar with the trackage, they were familiar with the train schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And as a docent, it was just like being in the 1940s. We stood back here and we said, we're only here to help you if you have a challenge.
Right.
And we allowed them to operate the tower in stages. Their story pack just came in. That's Dan, the guy who restored the machine. Former ABC employee.
Oh, wow.
He's worked for ABC Television, and he's applied that expertise to what you're seeing behind us here.
Wow.
Would not have happened without him, because I was on the board at the time when we bought the place.
Right.
And our initial intention, like I said, is just stuff it in metal.
Right.
And it is so much more of a unique asset now. It's not just a preserved tower, it's the soul of the tower is preserved as well.
Right. Because a lot of these machines, they don't even survive. I mean,
And
especially
we've had great help from Norfolk Southern, and particularly Amtrak, as they have been shutting down, as they've been divesting. They've allowed us to come in and remove some components. There are actually components of some of those other retired towers in this machine right now.
Wow.
So, yeah, she's quite a machine.
Wow. My other question is, what are your plans for the GG1? I mean, I keep hearing that one and another one would be primarily, like, are the best ones in the best condition to be restored.
Yeah, actually it would. That one has had her transformer removed. All the PCBs have been cleaned, and the interior has been cleaned.
Okay.
So as far as restoration candidate, should be covered. Of course, they were retired because of cracks in the frames.
Right.
And that would be something that would have to be used.
Advertisement paper or anything like that?
It would also take, just by my thought, since we were moving this week, for the past 2 weeks, I've just been obsessed about that very question.
Yeah.
And it looks like, in my mind, it would be a 3 to 5 year.
See, I wouldn't
Storage location, and a display location, somewhere within the environs of the tower and or the station.
Okay.
We're still working with the city of Harrisburg, Amtrak, Norfolk Southern. We're working with all the pertinent parties right now to secure that and formulate a final plan, at least for the short term.
Okay.
Moving. I'm going outside.
And anything beyond that would be up to our board.
Okay.
I'm going outside.
All right, buddy. Because it would be nice to actually see it running. I mean,
I'll tell you what.
It would be.
That did my heart good. I almost teared up.
yeah, because that's the first time I've seen one move. And I've been to the Railroad Museum of Pennsylvania. I mean, my dad, he grew up in Paley, so he got to see the GG1s, the diesels, the E44s, so he can tell you some stories about them. But me just actually seeing one move, it was like,
I was born in '69. I started riding trains right after Amtrak. I mean, before I can remember. One of my first memories is standing on the low platforms at 30th Street Station and having 902 blast by me as a kid. And I mean, I was a lot, I'm sure.
oh wow.
And that was one of my first memories. I remember as it came by, pressure wave going by as a kid.
Wow.
It was just huge. The blower noise, the air rushing up from the blowers coming down over the motor.
Wow.
And I was hooked. That is what hooked me as a rail fan. And I'm a mechanical engineer now, I believe, because of that very event.
Wow.
Yeah, you want to talk about wanting to see one run? I would lead that charge. But again, logistically, it would be, as an engineer, you never say impossible.
Right.
It would be exceedingly difficult. It would take much time, talent, and treasure to make that.
Right. Right.
As far as I know, right now, there's no plans for that.
Right.
As I said, anything beyond that would be
Well, here comes the cold
Right.
front.
Oh wow. Oh.
All right,
Yeah, buddy.
got some bills.
Yeah, I got it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I know. We'll see.
It could be that it came across the engine for occlusion. It's going to all look as it is, occlusion. The whole thing between the Saturn and Hopewell, two calls, is this key. The mission, you put the key, you think about the key, you're going to watch it. If you've got a very, very small hole in the middle, your weight is in the center of this key. But when you're out here, you've got a big front of the key, you've got a big front of the weight. You think this way, it'll turn the other off. That's what the whole thing is like. That's what we wanted to put little plastic inserts in here that cause these things to center. And if you wouldn't spend the money for each key and hanger, it's what I like the world for making seven keys. This piece is really, it was like 25-cent piece of hardware. That's the whole GM problem. It's the whole GM initial problem. And that's other problems that they got. That's the initial problem. They showed it to on NBC. We actually had a couple of students that were put it back in cheap things. And they wouldn't go for that because they had admitted to some of my ability. And then they just let other people die. The first people die. So, of course, amazing. I think GM made it down to price like this. It's a good possibility. Bunch of idiots they had to charge. None of too many lawyers and not enough people would look at quarter results, and then not looking at the, where the company's gonna be going. It's like, I'm gonna buy a Chrysler. I said, I got 2 Saturdays now, I do 4 Saturdays in the family, and my kids, so my son, so here's one. But now we have one Chrysler, 1 Saturday, that we got parked in total. That thing is flat out flying right there. No problem. Under its own power. 660. He was really bad.